Hello there, Vic Benedict here. We're playing Ninja Gaiden 2 on the Series X, and this is my Master Ninja difficulty guide for mission mode. And this is mission 18 of 24. It is also survival mission 2 of 8, and it features the Vigoorian Flails here. So I just looked at this, and it's a 16-minute video. So we've got some definitely we've got some time to do any sort of tangents that we might need to do. These frame drops here, I think what happened was I wanted to go back and do them, but I'm kind of mixed about survival. I definitely did not like it at first. I loathed it, in fact. I didn't want anything to do with it. But it got to the point, once you start understanding things more and doing things more, that it got more familiar to me, and I didn't detest it as much. Although I don't like it enough that I would maybe want to redo the video just because of some frame drops there. So with the Vigoorian Flails, I found that the most success I had with as far as combos with this weapon was XY, XXX, and that launches them into the air, and it constitutes a standard kill. And I found that enemies were dropping greens quite frequently when I was just doing that standard move, which is it's sort of like an Azuna drop combo without doing the actual finisher. And the reason I didn't want to do the finisher is because of just time. I didn't want to waste time. But as with all of the survival missions, as soon as you get to Karma Burst 5, make full use of getting capitalizing on UTs, OTs, killing sprees, instant kills, things like that. And with this particular weapon, it's got one of the longer UTs, especially if you do the finisher with it, which it's either you tap Y, or I think it's just tapping Y at the end of it, sort of like the cremator move of old, but it has a very lengthy UT, so that's going to drain a lot of time, when you're trying to sustain your karma burst, which, if you didn't hear it in the last video, the karma burst is your score multiplier. So our goal is to get up to 2 million, but I would highly recommend using your windmill shuriken UT as opposed to this weapon's UT, because it takes a long time, and it's not particularly powerful either, although it does have the trade-off of having iframes, which the windmill shuriken does not. But like, for instance, a Vigoorian Flail ET is very weak, and you're not going to deal too much damage with that. It's just not going to output that much damage for you. Now with these particular enemies, I'll mix in a few UTs. I'm not saying not to use the weapons UT. I'm just saying, try to mix in as much as you can the windmill shuriken. And I fully realize how frustrating it is when there's so many enemies that can interrupt you to use that weapon's UT and get interrupted. It happens constantly, and it's very frustrating, because they can block it too, but worse, they can stop you from using it and damage you, especially the rocket launcher ones. So with the rocket launcher guys, you want to go up to them and spam the guillotine throw, because that's going to be a quick way to dispatch them, and hopefully that will yield you some drops that are not yellow, fortunately green. And then of course on all of these missions you have access to incendiaries. So I usually use the incendiaries. Here's the move I was doing: XYXXXX, very helpful. I kind of lost my train of thought of what I was saying right there, but these guys, they blend right into the scenery too. And watch out for when you're jumping around the environment. You can jump off trees and it can mess you up. So if you if you don't see any enemies, there might very well be some rocket launcher guys, and they'll definitely remind you of their presence by their barrage of missiles. So we're about 5 minutes into the mission. We've got 1.2 million with some staggered points at the bottom, 6,400. That's going to absorb into our score. But this mission, once I found that I was getting more drops with that combo, this went a lot more smoothly for me, because I'm not a Vigoorian flail user typically. Its forward Y is fantastic to delim and then go in for OTs. And anytime, be careful about using Nympho though. But if you have staggered red essence, definitely utilize that as best as you can. Not by charging off of it, but by using your Nympho and then cashing in on the staggered red essence to replenish what you just lost. So you didn't really lose anything. You gained some kills. So we've got executors over here with the red Resetsu. And you'll see how weak this weapon's UT is, because it takes a lot of, and probably some of these hits are not connecting. The UT hits, they're just not connecting. But once you dispatch the and put the executors off the camera as best as you can. If you dispatch the Resetsu first, then what I would do is I would try to do standard kills on the executors, specifically jumping over to them and doing on landing rotate Ys, because one or two of those will dispatch an executor and hopefully give you some blues, because we're quite short of 2 million, and as I mentioned in the last video, these waves only get harder. So I finish him off with a standard kill, hoping to get something other than yellow, and I actually got green, but I was hoping for blue. So just keep your guard up and watch out for their charge, and just finish him off, because we're really low on health, and since there's no health items, we have to depend solely on drops. So that's what I just did there. Just jump over to him. We're not really after green here, because we've got a recovery wave coming up right after this with either bugs or scorpions, and you almost invariably will get your ×5 from those scorpions. And if you want to use incendiaries on them, you can, but I would save them for like blood gauges and lichens and things like that. Okay, so this weapon has scorpions, and I'm gonna just do the same thing that I usually do, is just use my windmill shuriken and just jump around and not melee with them, because I don't want them jumping on me. And I'm trying to get some blue drops, but the blue drops from such a small enemy is not going to give you very much. But we're piling on the green essence, which is great, but it would be better if, to have some more health. And I don't know how many of these scorpions there are, maybe 30. So after this, I can't remember what comes after this, if it's Riot Max or anything like that. Yeah, we're topping off completely. Yeah, Riot Max. So use staggered essence, jump over to them, and I'm not sure if an ET will kill them with the flails. I don't think it will. So you've got to be using the taunt for that sort of thing to happen. But of course we can't. There's no switching weapons. Got to be really careful of their pounce. See me jumping off a tree there, unintentional. But this would be an area after I cleared up, the mech. I would probably just jump around and throw incendiaries and try to get some good drops from these gauges, because we're not doing particularly well. I mean, ideally by now we should have already had the 2 million, but that just is a reflection of the game, how it's parceling out stuff and how poorly I'm doing as a player. So I'm doing okay. It's just that I should have already got it by now, but that's something to lament in a perfect world. But these mechs are awful. I really hate them. But we've got the Karma Burst sustained, it's at 5, and don't always be under the compulsion to have 5, because even 4 is good, 3 is fine. I mean, even Karma Burst 2, you're getting double the points, but there's nothing like getting times 5, of course. But if you have to settle for 3 or 4, times 3 or 4, just settle for that for the time being. You could always get more at any given time. Watch out for their explosion. It's deceptively wide in its area of effect. So I hate this wave. You've got rocket launcher guys, and you've got these Vangelfs over here. So what you want to do is, again, spam the guillotine throw on the rocket launcher guys. Hopefully that will give you some health to sustain you, and maybe some green as well. Forward Y on the Vangelfs is fantastic, but you need to be really careful of getting staggered as you're going in for OTs, because then they can grab you. And even though it's on normal difficulty, or whatever the equivalent of that is, you're always fighting hordes of enemies, so you're always at the risk of getting damaged from multiple enemies. Yeah, the guillotine throw here, try to throw them into a tree if you can, because they could take up to 3 guillotine throws otherwise. So we've got nearly 1.8 million, and then we've got, I think what we're going to have now probably some Fiend Mages. Yeah. What I love the most about these mages is, you're just jumping around and they materialize out of thin air and grab you. That's one of the things that I love the most. But we've got some of these mechs with them, so keep them off of the camera. Guillotine throw these guys, because they don't have too much HP. I'm going in for an Azuna drop with this weapon. We're getting there. It's just kind of a slow process, and what you can also do is you can keep them off the camera. You can do jumping arrow attacks, and then get on landing arrow ETs or UTs, depending on how far you want to risk it. They can shoot you off camera though, so don't be under the delusion that they can't. It's just that they do it less if they're off the camera. And don't feel bad when your Karma Burst expires, because it will. It happens all the time, so don't worry about it. It is unfortunate, but it's just part of the whole process that it's going to expire at some point if you are not getting green drops to replenish it. So I'm being made to really work for this one here, and God knows what's coming up. It's probably going to be an onslaught of rocket launcher guys. Yep, I knew it. But we can just use a guillotine throw here, and we have no karma multiplier going for ourselves, which is unfortunate. But maybe we can get some greens back, which we are getting. It looks like. And just dash over to them. Try not to jump over to them if you can help it. Always try to stagger them with incendiaries if you have them. And then, we're getting there. We're getting there slowly but surely. And this is one of those waves where they just throw a whole bunch of these guys at you, and it can be really difficult, especially when you're getting staggered and juggled by their rockets. And also when it's kind of hard to ascertain where they're located until they start firing, because they, like I said, they blend right into the background. And I just really don't like enemies that just are like this. You see how I'm getting thrown all over the place? But we're getting there. And fortunately the guillotine throw has so many good iframes for it. So all I want, and all you probably want too, is just to get the 2 million and get the hell out of Dodge. Take your money and run, so to speak, or take your karma and get the hell out of get the hell out of the town. And that's all I ever wanted. You know, I have no designs to come back to these and get as much as possible. You know, I just I found the task of doing it challenging enough. And there we go. We just about, I think we have it. There we go. So if we wanted to, we could just stand there and let everybody kill us, and then that would have done with it. But I'm just going to see if, you know, we could push it a little bit longer if we can. But believe me, we're not going to last long, because these waves just get harder and harder. So that has been the Vigoorian Flails. 16 minutes, yeah. We could have done that in half the time if we had done better and got better drops, but it doesn't always happen that way. So I'm perfectly fine in presenting whatever in particular happens in arriving at the 2 million. I'm perfectly fine in presenting it, whether it takes, you know, whether 5 or 10 minutes or 20 minutes. It's all the same to me, and hopefully it's all the same to you as you watch these and as you hopefully use them to succeed with your own plans. So that has been the second survival mission. I will see you in the third one, and until then, please take care.